Each year in Ireland, hundreds of women are affected by cancer. Cervical cancer is the second most common amongst women aged 15 to 44. In Ireland, 209 women will be diagnosed with cervical cancer. 73 of these women will die. Effective prevention programs could stop almost every case from happening. The aim of this video is to provide you with valuable information about cervical cancer.
Cervical cancer is a cancer of the cervix, and the cervix is a part of the neck of the womb, so it's between the womb and the vagina, and it's unfortunately a relatively common cancer in women in Ireland and in Europe. There's about 200 new cases of cancer of the cervix or cervical cancer every year in Ireland, and about 80 deaths per year in Ireland.
The human papillomavirus, known as HPV, is one of the main causes of cervical cancer. This virus is a sexually transmitted disease.
The HPV virus is a human papillomavirus, and there's over 100 different types of human papillomavirus, but only 2 types in general are commonly linked to cervical cancer. This is type 16 and 18. And this particular type of virus is transmitted sexually.
There are too many women dying each year of cervical cancer. By informing ourselves in the ways of preventing it, we can reduce the number of deaths.
The symptoms of cervical cancer are usually either abnormal vaginal bleeding or pelvic pain. These are the 2 most common presenting complaints that women who go to the doctor. Abnormal bleeding means bleeding between periods, or bleeding after intercourse, or bleeding after the menopause when a woman wouldn't expect to get any more periods. Pelvic pain obviously is another symptom that could be linked to cancer of the cervix. However, the vast majority of women who have pelvic pain don't have cervical cancer. In fact, the vast majority of women who have abnormal bleeding don't have cervical cancer either, but these are the warning signs that would prompt a woman to go to her doctor and get checked.
Me enteré de la relación entre el cáncer cervical y el VPH un día escuchando la radio. Un médico hablaba de las causas que pueden llegar a generar la enfermedad y personalmente creo que deberíamos ser todos mucho más conscientes.
Cervical cancer can be prevented, at least you can reduce the risks of getting cervical cancer by sensible sexual practices. I mean, obviously, limiting the number of sexual partners a person has, perhaps practicing safe sex, like using condoms, for instance. It prevents against all forms of sexually transmitted diseases, including the HPV virus.
Virtually every woman in her lifetime will have a sexual experience. Living young and fancy-free may be one option, but we can also educate ourselves on the risks, like I did.
The other ways of preventing or trying to prevent or reduce the risks of getting cervical cancer would be for a woman to have regular cervical smears. This is a screening test to pick up pre-cancer cells in the neck of the womb, and if you pick them up early by screening, then the woman can have treatments to revert those cells back to normal, whereas if they weren't detected and they weren't treated, they might go on and develop into a full-blown cervical cancer.
The thoughts of having a smear test can be quite daunting, but what's worse, having cervical cancer and not knowing?
There is a new vaccination available now to protect women against the HPV virus and hopefully protect them against developing cervical cancer. This vaccine is just recently been made available to all young teenage girls in Ireland. I think all 13-year-olds now will be offered a vaccine in school. And it's a series of 3 vaccines given over 6 months. It's a painless, relatively safe vaccine, but it does give excellent protection against that girl getting HPV virus as she gets older.
In Ireland this year, up to 80 women could die of cervical cancer. Don't be a victim. Make yourself aware.